Welcome to Nerds Amalgamated, a podcast that covers the latest events in science, pop culture, and gaming.
I'm the professor, aspiring game developer, sci-fi aficionado, and completely and undeniably a geek trying to take over the world. I'll be breaking down the news from tech to gaming.
I am the DJ, a humble nerd, a big weeb,
and a watcher from the halls of the multiverse.
Just kidding. Anyways, I'll be breaking down all things comics to movies to anime.
Join us and stay hydrated as we quench you with witty banter, unintentionally hilarious hot takes, and trivia more fun than a night at the pub, courtesy of Nerds Amalgamated.
Welcome to another episode of Nerds Amalgamated. How you guys going?
Ace, I thought we were alone in here.
Oh, sorry. How are you, Professor?
I'm fine. Just
Good
worried
week?
about your mental health. Again.
Yeah. I think I'm on happy overload this week, given what's happened. How about yourself? So what else have you been up to besides worrying about my mental health?
You can't just say that you're on happy overload and not say why.
Just a lot of personal things. That's why. I'll just leave it at that. But then also a couple of announcements as well, and also what else happened? Got a lot more sleep as well.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Yep. Yeah. How about yourself, Professor? What have you been up to besides worrying?
Not sleeping enough.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And reinstalling all of my Steam games because I had to move them to a new drive and things went wrong.
Oh dear. Everything goes wrong with you, Professor. I don't know what's wrong. Nothing ever goes right with you, does it?
Yes, it does. I just don't tell you when things go right.
Oh, jeez. So what game was it that caused the mess?
All of them.
All of them? Oh damn.
Yeah, so I got a big drive because I'm switching over to Linux.
Okay.
I had all my Steam games on a storage pool, which is basically the Windows equivalent of a RAID installation.
Okay.
Basically, all of the drives were merged into one drive. So I had all of my games on there. And I got a drive that was big enough to hold all my games, so I wouldn't have to re-download them again. Because the only way to get my drives out of the pool is to delete everything on them. And Linux can't view the pool. So I haven't switched over yet, but in preparation, I got a drive that's big enough to hold all my games, copied the files across, which took days, because I have a lot of games.
How many games do you actually have?
Well, it's definitely in the thousands range, because there was that huge bundle a few years back on itch.io. They did a massive bundle of like 3,000 games.
Fuck, man.
But anyway, this is about my Steam games. I haven't actually checked my itch games to make sure they transferred over, but they should be alright.
Okay.
The Steam games transferred over, and then I had some problems with my Steam library, and half the games seemed to be corrupted, so now I've spent the last week reinstalling all of them.
Ah, shit. That must have been quite an effort.
Yeah, it's still going.
It must be dragging your internet down, wouldn't it?
You'd think so, but I get 100 megs, so...
Nice.
It is maxing out my bandwidth, but it doesn't seem to be having any real effect on anything.
Okay, nice. So our topic for this week, we've got Epic Games free giveaway, debunking the marshmallow testing, and the FTC versus reviews. So you've got this first story, Professor. What's it about? Oh, sorry.
Well, I'm sure you've seen some of the Epic Games giveaways.
Vaguely.
Basically, every 2 weeks or something, they cycle through and give out a couple of free games. I've only ever bothered to claim a couple of them because most of them I'm just not interested in. But you'd think giving away hundreds of free games isn't worth it. You're not going to make any money off those users. But Tim Sweeney, the CEO of Epic Games says otherwise. He says that releasing the free games gets people into buying other games.
Wait, hold up. What do you mean? Wait, buying other games? But how?
So, well, they're basically trying to poach users from Steam.
Huh, good luck with
They,
that.
yeah. I still have a lot of issues with the way the Epic Store runs, even though it's got a better cut for the developers. Epic takes a smaller cut than Steam does. It is missing a lot of features, and funnily enough, didn't even have a cart for a long time. So you could be banned from buying stuff on the Epic Store by your bank because it detects fraud being a bunch of transactions made in a short time if you see a big sale like a Christmas sale and decide to buy half a dozen games at once.
Ah, damn. Man, I would hate to have a phone call from the bank going, "What is this Epic Game Store? I see on my records there's this Epic Game Store, Fortnite, and all these games. Yeah, it's under your card name, sir. What is this, sir? Can you explain this to us?"
Yeah, that's not as weird as the phone call my dad got when I tried to buy Armor 2 years ago.
No. Tell me that's not true.
Well,
That's fake. Tell me.
I bought it on the Bohemia Interactive store because they had a discount, and also they were selling it as a collector's pack, which
Oh,
included physical maps of the games, and I'm a sucker for that.
yeah, fair enough.
So I wanted to buy it through the Bohemia store, but they're a Czech company, and the bank saw that and went, "Nope."
I bet your dad when he got that phone call from the bank, he was going like, "Son, what is this Bohemia Interactive? Why am I paying to some company in Czechoslovakia?"
Well, they're not in Czechoslovakia for one.
Oh, okay.
There's no such thing as Czechoslovakia anymore.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yep.
And I'm sure they are all very angry at you right now for calling them Czechoslovakia.
Sorry. Well, it's funny. The Wikipedia is still saying that Czechoslovakia is still a thing, unless you're thinking of something else.
No, I am not thinking of something else, because Wikipedia does not say Czechoslovakia still exists. It says it was a country.
It was split into two sovereign states: the Czech Republic and Slovakia. But yeah, what did your dad say after he got that phone call from the bank?
Well, he knew I was doing it. He was just like, I want to look into this. And yeah, we had to go through a process to actually get the payment cleared because apparently not many people buy stuff from the Czechs.
And you had that result, eh?
Well, I got the games in the end.
Hmm. And I think it's also hard. It's going to be really, really hard for Epic to poach people from Steam, given how epic the Black Myth Wukong game came out. And man, how many people have been playing that game? Last I saw, it was 200. No, not 200. 2 million players playing that game on Steam.
Yeah, they sold something like 10 million copies in 1 week.
Yeah. It's beating every record known to man.
Well,
It's
you can buy Black Myth on the Epic Store.
oh yeah.
So the question is, how many people actually bought it on the Epic Store compared to Steam? Probably not many, because the Epic Store still kind of sucks and still doesn't have a huge market share.
Yeah. It's interesting you mentioned that because someone on the subreddit r/piece Epic Games PC for a question: did anyone pick up Black Myth Wukong on Epic? Someone said I picked it up, had a nice game. Some hiccups every so often, but overall the game was good. Just died Another one said just died last night. Crashed once for some reason, but runs beautifully. Decided to buy on Epic instead of Steam because guys giving out free games deserve the support. Keep it up. Another one, and finally waiting for a sale to decide between this and Final Fantasy 16 on my ROG Ally. So not many people have said anything about this.
So we've found one person. Now, this is obviously anecdotal because we haven't done a study and we haven't looked at the numbers. but we found one person who admits to buying the game on Epic because of the free games that Epic gives away.
Okay, so what else did the CEO has said with Epic giving out free games?
Well, he also says that their Epic Games exclusives,
Hmm.
a lot of them, I'm quoting, were not good investments.
Really?
Which, to me, that says that giving away the games isn't such a great idea because it's not actually getting people in. People would be buying games on the Epic Store and they're not. But
It
we don't have the actual numbers, so it's hard to say.
it seems like the whole giving away free games it's like a tax write-off thing.
No,
No?
it's not a tax write off scheme. It's just if they get their foot in the door by giving you a free game,
Hmm.
then you've got the Epic Store installed. You're more likely to buy a game off the Epic Store when it comes.
Yeah, yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
And I think they're particularly aiming for Fortnite kids. If they can get the Fortnite kids to build up a library on Epic Store, then they will be less likely to have built up a library on Steam. And you'll be more likely to buy a game on the store where you already have most of your games.
Hmm.
Like the only games I considered using Epic Store for are exclusives and freebies. I have hundreds of games in Steam. I don't want to have another store on my computer, so I'm going to buy most games on Steam.
It also seems like the whole idea of giving games Epic Game Store giving away games, it's like a desperate maneuver to try and be relevant in the games market. I mean, Steam still like every other game company has released their own like store and has not really done well. I mean, remember Bethesda? How horrible that went? The Bethesda launch, I mean.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of the third party stores that
Yeah.
aren't, well, not really third party, but a lot of the stores that aren't Steam or Epic are actually being rolled back. The games are removing the store and they're shutting it down because they're just not making the money on their own store.
Hmm.
And I think actually to tie this into like streaming, we're going to see the same sort of deal for companies that run their own streaming platform.
Do you think
I-
companies like Rumble are gonna roll back to Twitch?
No, I think companies that make paid content like Netflix and Disney and Hulu and all of that
Yeah.
are more likely to roll into one. It's just the nature of the market that it's probably going to roll into one monopoly
Hmm.
because that's just the nature of things. It's extremely expensive to run your own store. You
Yeah.
need to have a critical mass of users, and by fragmenting all of your content across hundreds of stores, it makes things more complicated for purchasers. And people just say, "Screw that! I'm going to pirate." But we're not at that point with streaming yet. We are with gaming where we've spent the last decade with companies creating their own stores and then realizing this isn't worth the effort and folding back into
Steam.
the established stores.
Yeah.
So Steam is a monopoly. Well, pretty much a monopoly. Its market share is through the roof. And I think it earned it
Yeah.
because they actually provide services to, right, they have really good services now. The first couple of years, yeah, it was rubbish. From what I've read, I wasn't around back then. Not in the PC gaming space, I mean.
Hmm.
But the
But as the years went on, like it just improved its performance.
yeah, they've added in features like the workshop reviews. There's still no user reviews on the Epic Store, and that's a big thing for me. I like to see user reviews before I buy a game.
Hmm.
The workshop is absolutely fantastic. Makes modding so easy. I come from the time before Steam Workshop, and modding used to be a pain in the butt.
Hmm.
And I look at it now and I'm like, if they could make Minecraft have a workshop like that, I would never play anything else. And there's
That's
been attempts, but
you,
none are as good as Steam.
you heard it, folks. This is you heard it, folks. get onto it and make him happy. But from a developer's point of view, though, wouldn't giving wouldn't the company giving free games away be a good thing in a sense, or would it still
Well,
be a bad
Tim
thing?
Sweeney claims that companies that take part in this free games program see a increase in sales of their other games because their free game raises awareness of them.
Hmm.
So it also sounds to me like Epic exclusives aren't doing well, but games that aren't exclusive to Epic are doing all right, which also doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But the goal is to increase the user count of Epic Games Store without advertising.
I mean, it costs a
So
lot of money just to get just to get an advertisement out there, just to make
yeah,
an ad.
Tim Sweeney claims that it's a quarter of the price to acquire a user by pre-games than they'd be paying to acquire users through Facebook or Google ads.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll see. It'll be interesting to see because they've just launched the Epic Game Store mobile because they had that big stink with Apple a couple of years ago about Apple's cut.
Oh yeah. I remember that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think Apple's cut is ridiculous because they are like quadruple dipping now. Instead of having just one clear fee, you need to buy a Mac, program in Xcode, pay an App Store fee. What else is there?
And second,
And also pay a cut to Apple for any profit you make through any money you make through the App Store. Compare that to Steam. If I want to launch a game on Steam, I can make it on any platform I want, using any programming language in any editor I want.
Hmm.
I can upload basically anything I want. I pay a fee of $100, I think it is, and that comes back to me once I've made $100 worth of sales. It's or something along those lines. It's basically a deposit. Steam doesn't keep the deposit unless you fail to make a certain number of sales. And that works to help keep the amount of spam down. But if I want to release on Steam, there's really only one thing I need to pay. There's the deposit, which I get back, and then the 30% cut on all sales made through Steam. So if you were a developer, where would you be releasing?
Steam, of course, with with better choices and better tools and stuff. Yeah, I'd still go with Steam.
Yes, like people complain about Valve's cut,
Hmm.
but the quality of the stuff you get on the Steam, like all the features Steam has, and compared to Apple's cut, it's not that much.
I mean, it's a small sacrifice, but for a better gain at the end.
Yeah, and Steam has all of the users. Epic Game Store doesn't,
No.
which is part of their problem. They need it's chicken and egg. They need users to buy the games that they sell. They don't get games on the store without having users.
Hmm.
So, since the Epic Games Store is now launched on mobile, I wonder if Valve might have something in the works. Because there are some games that are released on both mobile and on Steam.
Hmm.
And I'd really like to have a Steam store on mobile because with Steam at the moment, you buy a game once and you get it for all the platforms Steam supports. So I would not complain about having a Steam store on mobile where I can download and play my mobile compatible Steam games.
Yeah, but here's the thing though, with Epic Games on mobile, it would make sense because there's Fortnite on mobile and there's Fortnite on mobile. What's Fortnite's competition on Steam?
Apex Legends.
Okay, sure, it's Apex Legends, but is there content coming in as quickly as Fortnite
I
for
don't know, I
Apex
haven't
Legends?
touched Apex Legends in years.
Yeah, like when you see Fortnite, the content comes in every few weeks. Like there are a lot of content. There's like a new skin, a new gun, a new system going out. So or
I
maybe a
think
new
they're also
story.
targeting different types of players, though.
Hmm.
Fortnite is very targeted towards the microtransaction heavy skin collector.
Yeah.
from what I remember of Apex Legends, you could buy skins, but they weren't as heavily pushed as in Fortnite. But let me
Yeah,
look that up.
yeah. I mean, if Steam was to go down the same path as Epic Mobile, the only game I can think of that could work would be CS, like CS:GO, essentially.
You're thinking too small. There are tens of thousands of games on Steam,
Hmm.
and there are probably hundreds of those that have a mobile version. I know I have a couple of them myself. Vampire Survivors, I don't have the mobile version,
Mm-hmm.
but Star Realms, I do. It's really, I'd have to scroll through all of this, but there are games in my Steam library that have mobile versions, and I would love to be able to just install a Steam client on my phone and play those mobile versions from there.
I understand where you're coming from, but I'm just trying to say is there needs to be people there needs to be a lot more people signing up for the mobile game. As I said, like with Fortnite, for example, on the Epic Store Mobile Edition, people still it works. Like if there's a Steam equivalent to that, like Apex Legends, for example, I'll grant you that one.
What are
Then
you
if it
saying? You're not making any sense.
I'm saying like if Steam is to was to rival Epic Game Store Mobile, there has to be a game within Steam that could rival that with Epic Games
No, there
on
doesn't.
mobile.
There just needs to be games.
Yeah, I
Like,
understand. Sorry.
Fortnite is a big pool,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not the be all and end all. It's just Fortnite.
Yeah.
There are other games that exist, even on the Epic Store. I don't actually know what mobile games exist on the Epic Store
Mm-hmm.
because they haven't actually launched on Android yet.
Yeah.
But that's Fortnite is their big draw to get people into their store. And that's why they do this free giveaway thing on PC to get people into their store. The big issue I see with it is that they're throwing a lot of money into this project to get in new users. But they need the new users to stick around and actually buy other games. And according to the Tim Sweeney, they're doing that. But there are so many Epic Games exclusives that have not done well.
Yeah.
So where is all that money going? What are people buying?
I'm just looking at some of the exclusives. So there is Alan Wake 2, for example, and Alan
Still
Wake
haven't played
Remastered
that, but
was
yes, Alan Wake 2 is one example. The and Alan Wake Remastered.
yep.
But Alan Wake 2 has actually not made back its development costs.
Really? Even after the fanfare and everything?
Yeah, it was,
Damn.
it's a big game.
Mm-hmm.
The I've been waiting for it for a decade, and I haven't gotten around to playing it yet because I am really lazy. And
No
I've been
kidding.
planning to do a replay of all the Remedy games because they all sort of tie together.
Mm-hmm.
But I haven't gotten through them all yet, so I'm gonna buy Alan Wake 2 soon. I plan on it.
I've got the
But it
complete
hasn't made
list.
back its development cost.
Yeah, I've sent the list of all the games exclusive. So they've got Alan Wake 2, Alan Wake Remaster, Assassin's Creed Mirage. That's interesting.
Is that the new one with the Black Samurai?
No, that's the Shadows. Mirage is Basim.
Okay, I've probably never heard about it because it's an Epic exclusive. Um, yeah, there was what's it called? Metro Exodus was an Epic exclusive, but I didn't buy that until it came out on Steam
hmm
because for that one in particular, I was annoyed because it launched on Steam. Well, it was going to. For like 24 hours, it was for sale on Steam. And then before I could buy it, although it was a pre order and never pre order because that's how they screw you over, but before anyone could really buy it on Steam, Epic swooped in and bought the game that was already being released on Steam and said, release only with us. And that pissed me
Ouch.
off.
And you were not the only one. There's a Steam post about this, and one of them said this stupid exclusivity deals with Oculus, and then with Epic drove me away from 4A. I'll never buy another one of your products again.
Yeah, well, it seems like 4A games are releasing on Steam now. It's because I've seen a new Metro game being advertised on Steam. Metro Awakening, it's a VR game.
Ah, yeah, yeah.
But yeah, exclusive VR games because you just mentioned Oculus.
Mm-hmm.
That really annoys me because VR in the state it is at the moment really needs everybody to be working together to make sure it becomes a thing and doesn't fade away again. Because VR is such a niche thing, and we've got companies trying to lock it down and own it all. And one of those companies is Facebook, and Facebook can go jump.
But here's the problem, though. Why VR is so niche? It's because buying one of these units, you might as well buy a PS5 and just play it.
The prices come down a lot, actually. Like, I'm sure it's a loss leader,
Mm-hmm.
but you can buy a Meta Quest headset, which is the one made by Facebook, aka Meta, for like $500.
I've got one here, MetaQuest 3, $799 Australian.
Okay. The Meta Quest 2 was a better price, but the last time I looked was towards the end of its life, so it might have come down a bit.
Oh, there's one on Kogan. It's MetaQuest 2. Hang on a second. Yeah, MetaQuest Oculus MetaQuest 2, 128 gigabyte or advanced all in one. $499 at Kogan.
Okay. Meanwhile, I just picked myself up an HTC Vive for like $200 the other day. Like, it's an older model, yeah, but the price was right, and I don't have to sell my soul to Facebook.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So, with these games, like from Epic and with VR and stuff, will the giveaways ensure the franchise's longevity in a sense?
Considering Tim claims that the giveaways boost the sales of other games by that publisher, that developer, I hope so.
Mm-hmm.
Because I would be really disappointed to never get another Remedy game set in the same universe as Alan Wake. And at the moment, they're working on a ton of them, but of course, they can always be cancelled.
Yeah, and if it doesn't work out, what happens next then? Like, will Epic Games go, okay, it was a test, false alarm, guys?
Yeah, I'm not sure Tim Sweeney would ever back down. He seems like the kind of person, based on what he's said,
Mm-hmm.
to really latch onto this idea of running the Epic Store and never ever admitting defeat, no matter what happens.
Yeah, that's true.
On the other hand, Randy Pitchford, the CEO of Gearbox, 5 years ago said, "In 5 years, Steam will be dead." Like on the launch of the Epic Game Store, he made an exclusivity deal for Borderlands 3, I think it was, and said Steam will be dead.
Yeah, big
Well,
brain
Steam
there.
is still kicking. Steam is still the biggest online game store, so I don't think so, Randy.
How can you be this big brained?
Oh, it's Randy. He's special, shall we say. He has a lot of crazy ideas.
Oh yeah, here we go. Here we go. I find it now. From the so this is from r/Steve. The post titled 5 years ago, Randy Pitchford, CEO of Gearbox, said Steam will be a dying store in 5 to 10 years, and that the Epic Games investment in technology will outpace Valve. Some of the comments are just hilarious. Like one wrote, "Randy is historically an idiot." Another one's "Hey, isn't that the same Randy Pitchford that lost company documents on a thumb drive that also contained controversial stuff?"
Yeah. Yeah, honestly, I'm surprised he never got in trouble for that.
No, yeah. And someone wrote this, with how combative the CEO of Epic is for seemingly no reason, this was never going to become a reality in that time frame or like ever. Sweeney was just seems to wake up with random sticks up his ass. And him comparing the 30% that Steam gets to consoles gets me mildly miffed. Like, dude, no other platform offers both consumers and developers as many benefits to the point where 30% seems a little low, even. Come back when you can offer everything that a Valve offers, currently at 12%. This includes a big picture mode, a constantly improving input mapper, a workshop, forums, groups, a controller, a handheld device, VR device supports for all the device VR devices, support for all the devices, no monthly fee compared to consoles, and others that I'm mostly likely missing. I swear, I think some of these people should be given the marshmallow test.
Terrible segue.
Oh, so you got an interesting story about the marshmallow test and how it's not that reliable.
Yeah, the marshmallow test. Basically, you take a child and give them a marshmallow and say, if you don't eat this for X amount of time, I'll give you another marshmallow. And whether they eat that first marshmallow or wait for the second is supposed to be a predictor of their success in life. Because the idea is that by showing the ability to delay gratification,
Mm-hmm.
the child is proving that they can override their will and will have better outcomes as an adult.
Isn't isn't this experiment similar to the baby experiment you spoke about at one messed up moment in nerddom segment once upon a time?
No, I wouldn't say it was similar to that at all. I'm assuming you're talking about Little Albert.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that was more about testing whether you could force someone to develop a phobia
Okay,
and not whether the baby can delay gratification.
that's true. But it was similar. It is similar along the lines of conditioning and all that, wouldn't you say?
No, because nothing's being done to condition the child not to eat the marshmallow.
Okay.
But there's a new study that's just come out uh, testing the marshmallow test hypothesis by applying the marshmallow test to a child at 54 months and then surveying them at age 26.
Oh damn.
Yeah, it's a long study. Someone was waiting there with a stopwatch for a long time.
All right, kid. I will see you in a few more years.
And according to this new study, the marshmallow test performance, so whether the child ate the marshmallow or waited for the second, isn't predictive of their achievement, health, or behavior.
Huh. This study reminds me of, I don't know whether you're familiar with another study called remember phrenology?
Yeah, phrenology, the measure of intelligence and behavior by the shape of the skull, which is
Yeah.
completely debunked.
Yep. I think we're seeing that with this debunking as well.
Yeah, a widely accepted result being completely debunked. I mean, I always enjoy seeing that sort of stuff because it's really fun to learn what we don't know.
Hmm. So did they look at the lives of these the subjects separately? Like what happened to the to subject A? Like did he have a successful life? What happened to subject B? Did he had a shitty life, that kind of thing? Or did they just like did just a survey and that's it?
No, the survey would have been things like: Did you graduate university? Are you making $100,000 a year at your job? I don't actually know. I haven't read the full study,
Hmm.
but I imagine that it's that sort of uh, that sort of test.
I think I have the full paper, I'm not sure, but give it a whirl, Professor.
Well, that looks like the whole paper to me.
Oh damn.
Now to quickly skim it in the next 5 seconds. Okay, so the age 26 survey used the Likert scale ranging from 1 to 9, which is a scale of what their educational attainment is, ranging from no high school diploma to doctoral degree,
Hmm.
their annual earnings, the amount of debt they have, their health outcomes, including depression, BMI, and substance use, and their behavioral outcomes, including police contact, impulsive behavior, and risk taking.
Some of these results are very interesting.
Yeah, I suppose it's encouraging that the marshmallow test has been debunked. Because it says that no matter how old you are, you can still become a better person. You can still develop self control and work to better yourself.
I guess so, but the problem, see, my problem when people say that is the whole like there are so many limitations to that idea. Like if you want to do you have the time? Do you have the opportunity? Do you have the
Yeah. But it shows that there's no predetermined state. So you might not have the circumstances to be able to do it,
Mhm.
but if you have the circumstances to pursue further education or a promotion or whatever it is you want to do, you're not predetermined by having been a child with no self-control, which I think is encouraging.
Yeah.
Like if the test had come back and said that it's even more definite that the marshmallow test shows real results, a real prediction,
Mhm.
then I would look at that and think, okay, I'm nearly 30. When I was a child, would I have passed this test? And I would have then thought, I don't know if I would have passed the test. I don't remember being 2 years old. But I would think maybe my current circumstances are because I wasn't born with self control, so I couldn't pass the test as a child. So now I'm where I am in life now.
It poses a lot of ethical questions, like the whole yeah, it poses a lot of ethical questions. Now this has been debunked, such as how how will this be given to, how would you tell that to a person who has constantly been using the a victim mentality, like, hey, yeah, do better kind of thing, you know?
I don't know. I'm not a psychiatrist,
That's true.
psychologist. Sorry,
This is gonna
I'm not a therapist of any sort, so I don't know how to help people like that.
So what are the most eye-opening results that you've seen?
The most eye-opening thing about this is what I just said, that
Hmm.
since it shows that your childhood behavior isn't necessarily predetermining you into a future.
I'm looking at the behavioral outcomes. Police contact part. Police contact was assessed using an index that reflects the frequency and severity of contact with police, including self-reported lifetime arrests, time spent in jail, and frequency of driving tickets and traffic accidents over the last 12 months. And in that front, um, not much. There isn't much of they're all well behaved. They're all well behaved. Interestingly, do you reckon with this revelation, you reckon this will set back a lot of child psychology studies are way back now?
Ooh, that's a interesting thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, possibly. It'll be really interesting to see if a bunch of other studies are refuted based on this new information.
But yeah, at least this thing will not be review bombed hard by the scientists. Yes, I know it's another terrible segue.
Keep that up, and I'm gonna have to cancel the podcast.
So, the FTC, the United States Federal Trade Commission, the FTC, has banned fake reviews and testimonials in a 163-page final rule regulation set for the publication. So, according to the August 14th, the FTC prefaced their 163-page final rule with a summarizing statement. The ruling bans anything that could mislead a consumer who would utilize third parties to make a decision. This include fake reviews, fake testimonials, including those from celebrities, and fake social media indicators such as followers or likes. That's an interesting ruling.
Finally.
They've also defined a fake review as being from someone who does not exist, such as AI generated fake reviews, or who did not have actual experience with the business or its products or services, or that misrepresent the experience of the person giving it. Which is interesting to me. Like, how would you h- how would you find out whether someone gives a fake
Yeah.
review? Like, let's say for example, if I were to if I was a big Stranger Things fan and I saw the final season and I was and it was shit, like, but I didn't buy it, but I pirated it. So, and I put the review out like, hey, this new season was absolutely shit. Don't watch it. Are you gonna class that as a fake review, or are you gonna class that as a genuine review?
It's going to be hard to enforce.
Yeah, that's what that's the same thing. The FTC has said that it's unclear how the FTC will enforce misrepresented experiences from reviewers, and the rule also bans pay-to-play reviews, whether they are positive or negative, regarding their own or a rival products or service. Also going to be interesting. Can you imagine all these access media journos who do that kind of practice?
What is a pay to play review?
It's like okay. Remember, when games companies used to do that. Like, I'll um, pay me, games company will pay influencers. Like, I'll pay you money. Just give us a positive word of our product. That kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's that's a pretty obvious way to determine whether that's the case.
Hmm.
Order their taxes. Yes, it has always bugged me that they don't do it so much anymore, but games developers used to send out massive gift baskets to people to get them hyped about the new game.
Hmm. And we've seen companies. We've seen. I'm gonna use Black Myth Wukong on this one as well. Like, we've seen cases where with Black Myth Wukong, they even though the game is good, game review companies decide to trash that game. Like, remember that, like that infamous Screen Rant review of the game, which made people go nuts about that game. Yeah, they said that. Browser's product. They also said businesses also cannot have insider create reviews, create company owned websites that present themselves as hosting independent reviews, or suppress genuine reviews such as via legal threats, intimidation, libel, or slander.
This all sounds like it's a wonderful thing.
There has to be a but, is there?
I haven't found the but yet.
Okay. They said, in short, a review or testimonial must come from a real person discussing how they feel about a product or service with no other influence over them. The FTC will forbid providing compensation or other incentives conditioned on the writing of consumer reviews expressing a particular sentiment, either positive or negative. And they continued on by saying it clarifies that the conditional nature of the offer or of compensation or incentive may be expressly or implicitly conveyed. This in turn should mean a reviewer believing a positive review would grant them further gifts, quote unquote, without the business making such a promise would still be void, as the business couldn't offer the initial gift that gave them such a belief. What do you reckon? What do you reckon about this so far?
Yeah, so far it all sounds great to me.
Mm-hmm. So basically, from what I'm seeing, it seems like they're saying, okay, don't bribe anyone. Bribery is wrong.
Yeah, bribery, gifting, all stuff that should really be an issue for reviewers.
Hmm.
Way too accepted.
But that's see. Okay, I'm going to be talking it from. I'm going to play devil's advocate here. So, okay, sure. I can't. I can't be allowed. I can't allow the company to give me gifts and stuff. But how am I going to tell? Let's say I'm a content creator. How am I going to tell the guys like, hey, guys, check out this cool company. They gave me some cool stuff. I've also they've got some cool products. They gave me that, and like, how are you gonna make your followers buy that products in a sense?
You make your followers buy the thing by giving it a good review because it's a good product, not because you were given $100 to make a review.
Yeah, but even if I give a good review, let's say for example that product, for example, I say, okay, this product, as good as it is, has some flaws, and if I say these flaws would destroy the relationship of that company, what then?
Then the reviewer should state the flaws.
Okay, yeah, I understand that, but
It's a
would that
question of ethics.
Hmm.
Even if they get blacklisted from the company, it tells us that the company's not worth dealing with.
Okay. Yeah, that's true. So the register notice defines purchasing a consumer review as means to provide something of value such as money, gift certificates, products, services, discount coupons, contest entries, and other reviews in exchange for a consumer review. As such, even the promise of future reviewing opportunities is an incentive.
Yeah.
The
It
FTC
should
chair.
be illegal
Oh,
to, like, it should be illegal to have your reviewers be worried about getting blacklisted. I don't know how to actually stop that from happening. Like, I don't know how that would be enforced.
hmm. You're right. There is the element of enforcing reviews would be I don't know who has the patience to look at internet posts and seeing which one is the accurate review and which one's not the accurate review. They could look at it from one aspect. They can go like, okay, this movie was one movie was rated terribly, and you can see the comments, and they go, okay, from their objective perspective, yeah, okay, I agree with their sentiment. This movie was pretty bad. But according to FTC's chair Lena M. Khan, who explained fake reviews are not only waste people's time and money, but also pollute the marketplace and divert businesses away from honest competitors. By strengthening the FTC's toolkit to fight deceptive advertising, the final rule will protect Americans from being cheated, put businesses that unlawfully game the system on notice, and promote markets that are fair, honest, and competitive. Yeah, I I don't think any company is gonna follow those rules. To be honest,
Well, they
I
have
mean,
to. The law.
that's true. That's true. But come on, can you imagine Disney following these types of rules? Like even
They're
to
not going to want to, but they have to.
Sure, sure. But the other day with the acolyte being cancelled, people were people were so mad about this that they even the reporters from a couple of journals, they were all saying like, "Oh, they review bombed the show. It was bad and stuff." And even though it was contrary to the popular belief, the Nielsen ratings came out for the acolyte, and apparently it was the lowest finale they've ever seen.
Okay.
Yeah. So the article, hang on a second. So the article concludes by saying the new rules will allow the FTC to tackle violators by prohibiting their sale or purchase, and allow the agency to seek civil penalties against known violators. The rule will become effective 60 days after publication in the Federal Register. Um, yeah, I think it's a good move, but it's as you were saying, like it's going to be very hard to enforce it in the long run.
Yeah.
And some of these comments for the cycle have been are interesting to read about this. But as I was saying, this will prohibit corporate malfeasance or manipulation towards individuals as positive. Interesting.
Well, that's the plan. We'll have to see how it's actually enforced.
Hmm. I mean, they were saying one example they said was Steam. They did note that if there's an influx of negative reviews and attempts to disregard those that are off topic from the game's overall review metrics, there is also a factor of a user complaining about an element they knew was in place of media. Could a review be deemed fake if the user complains about something they knew they were going to get?
No. If someone buys something with the express purpose of reviewing it, knowing that it's crap, I don't think that's a reason to reject their review.
Okay. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, because it's interesting. This article also talks about the whole review bombing problem. Some people call it a problem. Some people call it a positive. So yeah, it's a double-edged sword. But yeah. Anyways, we'll be back after a short break, and and be back with the shout outs for the week and wacky movie. And now to our shout outs, where we talk about the events that happened for the last few days. On the 17th of August 2024, the 45th anniversary of the life of Brian Or is it Monty Python's Life of Brian? I don't know. So Monty Python's Life of Brian is a 1979 British comedy film starring and written by the comedy group Monty Python. The film tells the story of Brian Cohen, played by Chapman, a young Judean man who is born on the same day as and next door to Jesus and is supposedly mistaken for the Messiah. But he's not the Messiah. He's a very naughty boy.
Your delivery is lacking.
Nah. So this movie's themes of religious satire were controversial, including accusations of blasphemy, and had some religious groups were protesting from it. 39 local authorities in the United Kingdom imposed either an outright ban or an X certificate. Some countries, including Ireland and Norway, banned its showing, and a few of these, such as Italy, bans lasted over a decade. The film used the notoriety to promote the film with posters in Sweden reading, "So funny it was banned in Norway."
I think it's funny also that there was that debate between the Pythons and the bishop.
Yeah.
Where the bishop's like, you can't copy, obviously Brian is Jesus. You can't do that. That's sacrilege. And it turned out he'd missed the first 5 minutes of the movie, which established that Brian is not Jesus.
That is the ultimate example of tell me you have not seen the movie without telling me you have not seen the movie. Oh, how could you miss that important detail and start shooting off your mouth about it? And interestingly, there's a video about this on Facebook, and I'll also put the YouTube version of this on the show notes as well. Python fan and former Beatle George Harrison set up Handmade Films along with Dennis O'Brien to help fund the film at the cost of £3 million. Harrison put up the money for it as he, and I quote, wanted to see the movie, later described by Terry Jones as the world's most expensive cinema ticket. The original backers, EMI Films, and particularly Bernard Delfort, had been scared off at the last minute by the subject matter. The very last words in the film are, "I said to him, Bernie, they'll never make their money back on this one," teasing Delfort for his lack of faith in the project. This movie had 6 cast members and they played 40 characters. That's an achievement. That's one hell of an achievement.
They do it pretty well too.
In the interview section of Monty Python's Flying Circus live at Aspen, John Cleese said that because of the massive protests out against this movie from all denominations of Christianity, he would joke with Michael Palin, "We have brought them all together for the first time in 2,000 years." And it took one comedic movie to do that. When Michael Palin as Pontius Pilate addressed the soldiers, daring them to laugh, he was truly daring them. The soldier extras were ordered to stand there and not to laugh, but not told what Palin was going to do. Palin, in fact, can barely stifle his own laughter when saying "Bigus Tickus" in front of soldiers, asked if he found the name risible.
Didn't they also tell the extras that if they laughed, they wouldn't be paid?
I don't think I saw that, no.
Okay, maybe that's an urban legend.
Boy, can you imagine being in that set and you're told, okay, if you laugh, you're not getting paid for this. That would be painful. And this movie pokes fun
you can see it on their faces.
Oh, yeah.
It is painful for them.
This movie pokes fun at revolutionary groups and the 1970s British left-wing politics. The groups in this movie all oppose the Roman occupation of Judea, but falls into the familiar pattern of intense competition amongst factions that appear to an outsider to be over ideological distinctions so small as to be invisible, thus portraying the phenomenon of the narcissism of small differences. Michael Palin said that the various separatist movements were modeled on modern resistance groups, all with obscure acronyms which they can never remember and their conflicting agendas. It kind of feels ironic now, the more you think about it.
How so?
Oh boy. I don't know, like I've just been seeing a lot of like debates on the internet, and everyone is just fighting over the small differences. I don't want to go too deep into this, but yeah, it's present in the internet in the last few weeks.
I think that's been true for everyone for all of history.
Hmm.
There's always a faction who, left and right, there's always a faction who are trying to push further.
Yeah.
And that's when you get the sort of arguments between minor differences.
Yeah, yeah. And anti-Scientology protesters chanted, "He's not the Messiah. He's a very naughty boy," outside the cult's shops with the reference to L. Ron Hubbard. What was your favorite part of the film?
The whole thing's brilliant. Like, it's not fair. It's like picking your favorite child.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's true. That's true. Anyways, moving along. On the 19th of August 2024, Ethiopian-born teen who made skin cancer soap named Time's 2024 Kid of the Year. So Time Magazine and Time for Kids has chosen its 2024 Kid of the Year, and it's Herman Bekele, a teenager who could change the way skin cancer is treated. Bekele from Fairfax, Virginia, is being recognized for developing an affordable bar of soap that could make delivering medications for skin cancers, including melanoma, more accessible. And he says, and I quote, "It's absolutely incredible to think that one day my bar of soap will be able to make a direct impact on someone's life. That's the reason I started this all in the first place." So the soap is made from iminiquimod. I can't pronounce this right. Iminiquimod, a cream-based drug that can help destroy tumors. While effective, the drug can be expensive, often prescribed as part of the treatment plan that could cost $40,000. The retail price can go up to $180 without insurance and is even more expensive in Ethiopia. But Kelly realized a bar of soap could be an effective, accessible, and cost-saving delivery system for the drug. He turned this idea into reality, and by applying this and winning the 3M's Young Scientist Challenge in 2023, securing a $25,000 cash reward and a title of America's top young scientist. That's impressive. Very impressive.
Good work.
Yeah. On the 25th of August 2024, it's 85 years of for 85th anniversary of The Wizard of Oz. The Wizard of Oz is a 1939 American musical fantasy film produced by Metro Goldwyn Mayer. It is an adaptation of L. Frank Baum's 1900 child fantasy novel, The Wonderful Wizard of Oz. It is primarily directed by Victor Fleming, who left the production to take over the troubled Gone with the Wind. It starred Judy Garland, Frank Morgan, Ray Bolger, Brett Laher, Jack Haley, Billy Burke, and Margaret Hamilton. Noel Langley, Florence Ryerson, and Edgar Allan Wolfe received credit for the screenplay, while others made uncredited contributions. The music was composed by Harold Arlen and adapted by Herbert Strothart, with lyrics by Edgar Yip Harburg. Production of the film began when Walt Disney's Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs showed that film adaptations from popular children's stories and fairy tales could be successful. Oh boy. When I think about that now, I don't know. So this script went through several writers and revisions. They completed the final draft of the script on October the 8th, 1938, following numerous rewrites. The original producers thought that a 1939 audience was too sophisticated to accept Oz as a straight-ahead fantasy. Therefore, it was reconceived as a lengthy, elaborate dream sequence. So one of the scenes for this was a spoiled and selfish princess in Oz has outlawed all forms of music except classical music and operette. The princess challenged Dorothy to a singing contest in which Dorothy's swing style enchanted listeners and won the grand prize. This part was initially written for Betty James, but was later dropped. Another scene, which was removed before final script approval and never filmed was an epilogue scene in Kansas after Dorothy's return. Hunk, the Kansas counterpart to the Scarecrow, is leaving for agricultural college and extracts a promise from Dorothy to write to him. The scene implies that romance will eventually develop between the two, which also may have been intended as an explanation for Dorothy's partiality for the Scarecrow over her two companions. This plot idea was never totally dropped, and is especially noticeable in the final script when Dorothy, just before she is to leave Oz, tells the Scarecrow, "I think I'll miss you most of all." Gee, that would have been that would have been weird.
I guess audiences just weren't ready for a human scarecrow marriage back then.
Imagine they remake this movie and put this detail into action. How would the reaction be like now? Many shots were trimmed down or edited out of the film because they were too intense for family and children. In particular, one deleted shot showed the tornado completely enveloping the farmhouse. Also, later in the film, a lot of the Wicked Witch of the West scenes were either trimmed or deleted entirely, as Margaret Hamilton's performance was thought to be too frightening. The iconic ruby slippers are now at the Smithsonian Institute's National Museum of American History and are so popular that the carpet in front of them has to be replaced numerous times due to wear and tear. The famous Surrender Dorothy skywriting scene was done using a tank of water and a tiny model which attached to the end of the long hypodermic needle. The syringe was filled with milk, the tip of the needle was put into the tank, and the words were written in reverse while being filmed from below. There was an added phrase to Surrender Dorothy, which was "or die." It was cut before the movie premiered. A recent study claimed that this is the most watched movie in film history due to the number of television screenings each year, as well as various DVDs, video, Blu-ray, 4K releases, which has enabled children of every and all generations to see it. According to the lead munchkin Jerry Marin, the little people on the set were paid $50 per week for a 6-day work week, while Toto received $125 per week. Damn!
They paid the dog
More than the little people. I mean, damn!
Hollywood, you're messed up.
Throughout the rest of his career, Jack Harley denounced the idea that making of this film was enjoyable. He quotes, "People question me like, you're questioning me now, saying, must have been fun working The Wizard of Oz. It was not fun. Like hell it was fun. It was a lot of hard work. It was not fun at all." And finally, there was a tornado in Kansas on the day of Judy Garland's death. Damn, even the tornadoes remembered her. So, what's our messed up moment in nerddom this time, Professor?
Another one from history.
Okay.
I don't suppose you ever heard of Johann de Witt.
No.
He was the Grand Pensionary of Holland, which is a role kind of equivalent to a Prime Minister.
Okay.
Then, in the early 1970s, he lost favour with the Oranges, who were the supporters of William of Orange, the King of the Netherlands. He survived an assassination attempt and resigned, and he and his brother were arrested on charges of treason. He was tortured, but refused to confess.
Okay.
Then he was sentenced to exile.
Alright. Yeah, that sounds... Okay, makes sense. He did start a revolution and everything, yeah.
Well, before he could leave for his exile, Johann and his brother were mobbed by the civic militia. They were shot and left to an angry mob. Their naked, mutilated bodies were strung up on a gibbet, and the Oranges ate their livers.
Oh! Oh! What the hell, man?
And according to the people who witnessed the mob, there was a remarkable discipline, suggesting that the mob was a pre-planned event.
What the hell? What did they do? Like, they go into a bar and they thought, okay, this guy's going out. Okay, what do you want to do? Okay, we're gonna give him this nice send off. All right, how about we do something memorable to them. We'll eat their livers. How about that? What the hell?
I think it was much of a nice send-off thing. I don't think he was too popular.
What?
I just want to know, like, why the liver and why did they stop at the liver?
Isn't the liver like isn't the liver poisonous or something like that?
I think only in extreme amounts.
Yeah, I heard a story about the Douglas Mawson with the dog
Oh
livers.
yeah. Yeah, that's also because the livers they were eating were wait, was it Mawson? I'm thinking it might have been someone else because I'm thinking of polar bears. There was an explorer who ate a bunch of polar bear livers and died of vitamin A poisoning, if I'm remembering correctly.
No, Mawson was the sled dogs.
Okay.
The livers from polar bears. I think it might be something else. Oh no, it was. Oh no, this it's saying Oh wait, nope, false alarm. It was they're saying the dogs here, but not I think from polar. Oh wait, no, here we go. Found it. So vitamin A toxicity has been known to the Inuit as will not eat the liver of polar bears or bearded seals due to them containing dangerous amounts of vitamin A. It's been known to Europeans since 1597 when Gerrit de Vere wrote in his diary that while taking refuge in the winter of Nova Semlia, he and his men became severely ill after eating polar bear liver. But yeah, wouldn't it
Yeah,
be
so
Yeah.
these cannibals probably didn't uh, get too sick from eating Johann's liver.
So what was
Especially like it's a big organ,
yeah,
but for a mob, you got to split it up fairly, right?
yeah. How many people were they attacking him? Or was it like I know it's a mob, so it'd be more than two people.
I don't know. It doesn't actually say in the wiki article.
Yeah. So what was the reaction to this after?
So after he was lynched and eaten, the monarch of Holland decided to restore public order by purging the city council of anyone who opposed him.
Oh, shit.
So yeah, it's I'm unsure whether the DeWitts were particularly bad managers or if it was just a coincidence of negative events happening all at once because they referred to the year 1672, sorry, as the Ramp Year, if I'm pronouncing that right, or the disaster year, when France and England attacked the Netherlands. Seems like they used it as an excuse to purge the city council and re-establish the monarch power.
This feels like a board wipe move.
Yep, flip the table, eat their livers.
I am so glad we have moved past that nowadays. In case if someone loses, just flip the table, eat the loser's liver.
I don't know. Having your liver eaten would be a good motivator to be a good politician.
On that, let's just move on before we get darker on this. On to our wacky movie. On the 21st of August 1980, Saturn 3 premiered in Australia. This was a plot summary. Two lovers stationed at a remote base in the asteroid fields of Saturn are intruded upon by a retentive technocrat from Earth and his charge, a malevolent 8-foot robot. This movie was a marriage of science fiction and horror by exploring a very dangerous incident of artificial intelligence. Damn. The project was based on the idea by John Barry, who was one of the leading production designers of the 1970s, whose credits include A Clockwork Orange, Star Wars, and Superman. He pitched it to Stanley Donen when they were making Lucky Lady together, and Donen suggested that he produce while Barry direct. Donen had no experience in science fiction prior to this. Donen was making the B-movie spoof movie for Lou Grade and gave Grade a copy of the script to read. Grade read it while on the plane with Farrah Fawcett. He gave the script to Fawcett, who was interested, and Grade agreed to make the movie when the plane landed. Donen later said the script wasn't thoroughly realized at the point when we signed Farrah Fawcett. We had a starting date when Lord grade got off the airplane, but no script. He also said, I was rather surprised she said but yes in the first place, because in the early script, hers wasn't a big part. The film cost over $10 million, and there was a lot of film with 3 characters, admitted Donan. The robot cost a lot more than we had expected. It was slower to photograph than we thought it would be. And when John couldn't finish directing the picture, that took time. The original director, John Barry, had made his name as a set designer had been acclaimed for his works in Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope, and Superman. After he was removed from this movie, he was working as a second unit director on Star Wars Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back, when he collapsed on set and died of meningitis. Kirk Douglas thought the clothes he wore in this movie were so comfortable that he kept them after the production wrapped. And Hector the robot stood 8 feet tall and cost a little over $1 million to make. And its name was taken from the Trojan Wars in Greek mythology, where Hector was the Trojan prince and the greatest fighter of Troy. That must have been a very interesting movie. Anyways, that's all we have for this week. Stay happy, stay nerdy. See you guys.
Look after yourself, stay hydrated, and we will see you next time.